Hi everyone, welcome back to Nails by Sora. So today I'm going to play around a little bit with these FIMO pieces, one of which is hanging out on top of the little pill case. But I gotten these specifically for a challenge. I've seen them before, and I have a few other FIMO kits in my collection. But as you all know, if you've been here before, you know that I do some challenges, design challenges, and this one has to do with using a jelly orange and using fruit pieces. So I got these for that. And I wanted to do it on my own nails this past manicure, but I couldn't figure out quite what I wanted to do. So I figured I'd play around a little bit on tips, just to figure out how to use them. So I have a loose idea in my head, but I do want to also use dip powder / acrylic powder for the manicure because I want to use monomer and do an acrylic process. This is, these three at least are dip powders specifically, but you can use them as acrylic powder. It's basically the same thing. And this nail is turned upside down because I want to embed it on the underside, and then I'll do an overlay on top. So I'm going to use acrylic on this nail specifically. I'll probably use acrylic on one of the other ones, and then I'll do a gel encapsulation on the third. So I'm going to start off with this one. I just want to say I'm going to put my mask on, so if I get muffled, that's why. Whenever you're using monomer, make sure you're using it in a well-ventilated room. I have my window open, I'm wearing a mask, just because even though the one I'm using is low odor, it still does have an odor, and you don't want to be constantly breathing it in. So my mask is up. I'm going to put this aside. Actually, I'm going to take a few of the orange slices out because those are the ones I'm going to be using right now. I'm going to grab my tweezers so I have them at the ready. I have my monomer, my acrylic brush is somewhere. Is it this one? It's this one. I took the cap from my Saddleland acrylic brushes just because this one didn't come with a cover, which I was really kind of surprised about. So I wanted something on it since I keep it in a little pencil holder on the side. I'm just going to put it into my monomer and let it soak for a bit. I'm going to take this tip aside and put it on an independent nail stand so I can work with it more comfortably. And I'm going to start out with a layer of clear, just so that I have a base to encapsulate the FIMO into. So I've got my brush. I'm going to dab a little bit off onto my towel, and then I'm going to get a good amount of acrylic onto my brush. I'm using a bit of a, I'm using one of my longer nails for this, just because I wanted a little bit more real estate to work with, nail estate, if you will. I just want to get an even layer on the nail. I'm going to take my FIMO. I think I'm going to place it down in the bottom and just press it into the acrylic. And then I'm going to go over it with some more. Do I want to mix the clear with the orange? That is the question. Let's not knock it over, please. Okay, I'm going to take some clear. I'm going to take some orange. And I'm going to work it together up the nail. I must say, I really do love this brush. I had quite a lot of trouble learning acrylics. Not that I'm an expert or anything when I first started, because I always had trouble with the acrylic gunking up in the brush. And it doesn't seem to happen with these Kokoist brushes, and I've heard a lot about them, that they're the best. And I must say, I wholeheartedly agree. So I just want to make sure that these FIMO are completely encapsulated. Okay, I'm gonna leave this to dry, and then we will look at it from the other side when it is all set. So I've got this pink color now that I'm going to play around with, and I'm going to do basically the same idea but from the top. But I'm gonna start with the color as a base. But I'm gonna take some clear, take some pink, I'm going to start laying down my color. I want it to be somewhat transparent, translucent, jelly-like, but I do want it to be even in tone. It's okay if it takes you a few extra, what are these called? Pearls. I couldn't think of the word. A few extra pearls to lay down your color, so long as you get the results that you're looking for. You don't have to do it in one pearl. You don't have to do it in 5. Just as long as you get the results that you're going for. So it's a pretty even coverage now. I'm going to go and start laying down my FIMO, and this time I'm going to go from the tip down. Now you can bend these, they're very flexible. So you should, in fact, try to bend them so that they mold to the shape of the nail. But they won't necessarily hold that shape unless you're using gel and you can wrap the nail and cure it. All right, so now I'm going to go over with another layer of clear. I'm going to saturate my brush quite well so I can get as much acrylic as possible. I want a pretty good pearl, preferably without any hair in it. Just going to lay it down over top. And then press it down and encapsulate the FIMO. All right, I'm going to let this one set. I did go over it with pink, as you saw. It's somewhat transparent still, and I'm going to be also filing the nail smooth. So some of the FIMO will be exposed again, and then it'll also trim it down a little bit, thin out the FIMO, thin out the nail, and then we'll go in and do a little bit of a sparkle shimmer over top and fade that up the nail. But I want to let this dry first. And while that's drying, we'll go into the third nail and do some gel. I will need to clean that up and get it out of the way. All right, so I completely forgot that I wanted to use this color, so I'm going to combine it into the gel process. So first, I've started out with a base coat, and I've got these two colors that I want to play with. This color more than Sunstalker because it's a little bit more brown in the orange, so I may just go with Sparkle & Co. and Dipwell. So I'm going to move this one aside, and I'm going to start with a layer of Sparkle & Co. and I'm going to use the sticky layer of the gel polish to dust some powder onto and fade it up the nail. So a nice even coat of that. And then I'm going to take my cupcake liner and a fluffy brush, fluffy. And I'm going to dust it up the nail. Having a bit of a difficult job time here right now because the air vent is right behind me and it is blowing the powder. All right, time for coat 2. Now I'm not seeing much of a change in color with the Dipwell over the gel, so I'm going to leave it out from this coat and I'm just won't have it, which is fine. I don't have to use all of my products in every single video. I'm going to cure this, and then we're going to move on to encapsulating some fruit. So I have this beautiful gel from Light Elegance called Take Two. They're small, and it's this orangey glitter with a green and yellow shift to it. So I want to put some of this on as well. Remember how said I don't have to use every single product that I have? Well, I lied. Thin round. And I think with this one, I'm going to have the fruit coming down from the cuticle line, so that's where I'm going to focus the glitter. I'm going to take a good amount. And just kind of fade it up or down the nail. So I'm gonna sink some of the FIMO into this layer. And I think I wanna alternate different FIMO with this one. So I'm going to use an orange slice. I think I'm going to use whatever this is. I think it's grapefruit. And I'm going to use a lemon. into the lamp. So while that's curing, I'm going to take the first nail. And I went over it and I matte top coated the underside just so that it's all finished. And now we're going to flip that over and add a little zhuzh to the top side. So I think for this one, I do want to go in with the Take Two, they're small, and do some glitter on top of that. But first I want to prepare the nail with a little bit of base coat. So I'm going to take my Madam Glam. I'm going to cover the entire nail, cure that, and then go in with some glitter. Going back to this one, we are going to now encapsulate it. So I'm going to start with still some more of the glitter because I want some to fade over top. Kind of look like it's mixed in, kind of like a nice fruity cocktail. And then I'm going to take some nice builder gel and encapsulate the whole nail. You want to make sure you get all around the pieces of FIMO so that they're fully embedded. All right, and now we're going to go back to this nail and add some glitter as well. All right, now to finish up this nail, we're going to fully encapsulate it with builder gel, and then I will do a top coat and this nail will be finished. Now I'm just using a long liner to drag the gel so that it finds an even level. I'm going to put a little bit more up at the top. So I want to file this nail smooth. So I'm just wiping the inhibition layer with a little bit of alcohol. And then I'm going to attempt to restick it to the surface. So I can go in and file it. Now that that is filed and the nail is cleansed, I'm going to go back in with another base coat and top coat, and that's going to finish off nail 2. Or technically, I guess this is nail 3, and we will go back to nail 2 because that one is still sitting on the stand. Okay, so change of plans. The other nail I did is not setting, probably because the components that are in this dip powder aren't high enough in acrylic to actually let the monomer set it. Since I mixed the first nail with a little bit more clear, it probably had a little bit more acrylic powder in it and was able to set better, but this one is not setting. So I'm going to just do another nail with a different powder, and we'll go from there. I think I'm going to do, since I have one that's a little yellow and one that's more orange, I'm going to do one that has a little bit more green in it, I think, if I can get it out. And I'm going to, I guess, maybe do kiwi, maybe some lime. I'm not quite sure. Let's see. I didn't remember that this one is a glow, so it has this really great effect of having the nail be kind of glowy, for lack of a better word. And I'm not sure I have another one that's quite like it where I can achieve that same effect. So I think I'm just going to stick with my model ones, and I'm going to marble some different greens together. And then I'll fade that up the nail with the clear. So let's get the acrylic set up again. I've got my clear. I've got some green. I've got some more green. And I've got some more green. And I'm gonna try not to knock anything over. So back with my Kolinsky brush and my monomer, masking up. All right, so I've got my base coat down. I should have already put the FIMO down before I added color, but that's okay. Now we're gonna go in and we're going to encapsulate with more clear. I'm gonna pick up a little bit of this green with it. I really much prefer this method because it allows for you to really shape the design into the nail without worrying about bulking up the nail. And then you can always apply this to the nail with acrylic powder after it's dry. Just want to apply a little bit more clear so that the FIMO is really well embedded. And then we're going to let that set. All right, so it hasn't even really been 5 minutes and this one is set already. So I'm going to go in with my velvet matte top coat to set the underside, and then I'm going to go in and add a little bit of sparkle to the top. Now, if you're going to preset designs like this where you're using the underside of the nail, you want to make sure that you leave the acrylic raw so that you can set more acrylic on top of it later and affix it to the nail. I actually don't know if that's something that's necessarily an absolute, but it makes sense to me that if you want to affix it properly to the nail with more acrylic, you want to leave it with a surface of acrylic on it so that the acrylic can go against acrylics. All right, so we're going to flip this over now. I'm just going to file smooth the tip because there's always that little piece where it's attached to, I guess, the set when it's being formed. And we're going to zhuzh it up. So I've got these two other sparkles, glitters from Light Elegance. One is a yellow base and one, although it looks pink and blue, I assure you it's green, and it's got, I mean, it has a shift to it. You'll see when I open it up that it shifts blue-green. So since we have a little bit of yellow, so since we have the yellow and the green in here, with a little bit of blue, I'm going to mix this one with the yellow. But first we're going to do our base coat, which I almost forgot, and we're going to get that cured. Kind of love it just the way it is. And that's the thing also with doing it like this. You really don't need to do anything to the top. It's already smooth, perfectly shaped. You just have to attach it to your nail. You could also do this with polygel. That way it pops off and you have a perfectly set nail to attach. It's just, there's some bubbles in here, so I want to get rid of that. I'm just going to attach it to the stand because I keep knocking these over in the lamp and messing up the surface. Now to combine these two, I'm just going to take a little bit at a time and place it on the nail, and then I'm going to get it all over the place. And then I'm going to swirl them around on the nail. All right, everyone, so that finishes up this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I certainly enjoyed making them. I love these FIMO pieces. I want to wait for that car engine to pass. I want to start playing around with it a little bit more on my own nails and see what kind of designs I can create. I do think that this one came out a little bit better, probably because it was the third one I did, so I was used to the method of doing it on the underside. This one is a little bit more bloated because the gel is on top and you have to really encapsulate it and file it well, which for me is a little bit more difficult when you're doing it on a standalone nail versus on my own hand. But I think actually even this color is my favorite. I really love the way the blue and the yellow, sorry, the green and the yellow mix together. It's very summery. Makes me want to make a lemon limeade. But anyway, that's going to do it for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Please give me a like and a subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you know when new videos are available. As always, if you have any comments, questions, or suggestions for upcoming videos, any comments, questions about the products I used in this video, please leave a comment down below. I will leave all the information for the products in the description box below, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.